Right, I decided to come on here because I wrote a Tumblr thing in response to David Cameron explaining why he's voting no to AV. But no one's going to read my Tumblr, but I have a billion subscribers or something on YouTube for some reason. So anyway, I don't know if to just read it out or just give you points basically. But anyway, he came up with 3 sort of points, although they're a bit hard to find in all the talking because it's hard to talk to people straight when you tell them to vote against their own interests. So anyway, I think his first point was, under alternative vote, a minority party vote would be worth more than a mainstream party vote. This is sort of true, except it's not true at all. What it means is, well, what is actually a fact is, under the current system, a minority party vote is worth less than a mainstream party vote. I don't know if I can go into the sort of maths on this, because I don't have any science to show you, but essentially, if you imagine most places in the country are contested between 2 main parties, it'll be Lib Dem and Conservative or Labour and Conservative. If you're in Scotland, it'll be SM or SDP, whatever. Can't remember the name of them. Anyway, doesn't matter. What do you call this? It matters a lot. Just made myself look bad. Anyway, yeah. So I used Somerton and Frome, the Somerton and Frome constituency, as an example, because there was a controversy over tactical voting in 2010, as the UKIP guy wrote a letter to UKIP members saying to vote Conservative instead because UKIP don't stand a chance. And so yeah, getting into the math, the difference in the vote count between the winning Lib Dem party and the Conservatives who came second was only 1,817, which meant 1 vote is 0.055% of the total amount of votes needed to swing the election in the Conservative favour. It does change slightly. I don't even know why I'm telling you these numbers, because you can't keep track of them unless you can see them. The difference in the vote count between Lib Dem, the winning party, and UKIP, which came 4th, is 26,861, which means 1 vote is worth only 0.0037 of the total votes needed to swing the election in UKIP's favour. So it means any voter that would want to vote for UKIP but would rather the Conservatives win than the Liberal Democrats faces a dilemma, because a vote for the Conservatives, which isn't the first choice, is 14.86 times more likely to affect the outcome of the election than if they made the UKIP vote. So essentially a UKIP vote is wasted. It's just a spoiled ballot. Suggest you, but you're not going to do anything unless everybody changes their mind at the same time, and people basically just can't have faith in each other to do that. So we have to do tactical voting to make sure we don't get the party that's most against our interests in. So yeah, under alternative vote, this dilemma wouldn't happen, because the voter that wanted to vote UKIP would still vote UKIP, put Conservatives down as the second choice, and then they'd probably end up voting for Conservatives anyway. But just in case enough people wanted to vote UKIP, they would get the candidate they want in, and it would be the candidate that most people want in as well. His second point: a voter of a losing party should not get, as he put it, a second bite of the cherry. Now, as far as I know, democracy is supposed to be a system where policies are decided by compromises, and eventually the majority agree on something. And that's how it works. That's what democracy is. It's not a competition. It's not like a Texas Hold'em game or something, where if you cash out or if you sit out early, then realise you could have won. It's too late for you. My analogy went a bit fucked there. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, basically, the Conservatives won the election, even though 63% of voters actively opposed their policies and voted for a different party. And because of the way the first past the post system works, and considering the problems of having to vote tactically, otherwise your vote is wasted, the majority, which is at least 52% of the people, that's those who voted for Labour and Liberal Democrat, would rather not make the severe cuts we currently see into public services, because they voted against it. But they only represent 40 or 48.5% of Parliament represent them. The majority, effectively a minority in Parliament, and I'm not even going to try and get into the technicalities of the way the Liberal Democrats have to vote in the coalition. But anyway, yeah, so the point of a voter of a losing party should not get a second bite of the cherry. No, a voter of the losing party should get a second bite of the cherry, because their voice still matters. They shouldn't be ignored, because that's undemocratic to ignore the majority just because the party that got, was it 36.5% of the popular vote are sore winners. So yeah, that point's bogus. And and then just a sort of quote from him. I've cut this down a bit and I can't remember what it actually was, but he said, those who are courageous or brave could be pushed out, and those who are boring and least controversial would limp over the finish line. And that's what he's saying would happen in an alternative vote. First off, I think it's pretty funny that he's saying the way to break the status quo in politics is by keeping the status quo with voting. But whatever. Anyway, the point of a democracy is that the majority agrees. If the majority disagrees and you do it anyway, that's a dictatorship, or it's not democracy anyway. So it could be a republic, whatever. But anyway, yeah, already today, brave, courageous, controversial candidates exist, and they lose to status quo candidates because the electorate, like I said before, has the choice of throwing the vote away on an outside candidate or voting for one of the three mainstream ones and actually having the vote counted. And that's basically what I'm saying. I think that's all I've got to say. David Cameron made 3 points. All of them I reckon I've just refuted, but I mumbled a bit. Anyway, yeah man, peace. Oh, by the way, yeah, it's not complicated or expensive to implement alternative vote. Like the way I've been saying it, which I'm gonna just get sick of saying this eventually, is if your first vote or if your first nomination can't win the election, your second vote is counted instead. If your second nomination can't win the election, your third vote is counted instead. It's not more complicated than that. That's all there is to it. So when people start trying to spin it and use lawyer speak and approach it from a different angle, and that it doesn't matter, that's none of that. It may well be true, but it's all just bullshit made to make it sound complicated. Really, all it is, first nomination can't win, your second vote is counted. That's all there is to it. So yeah, peace.